turn to page 9 of the handout, if we turn to page 9 of the handout, okay, so the teaching on emptiness, the wisdom of emptiness, which is so precious. If we really don't want to go through the fears of life, any fears of life, right? The best way, the ultimate solution is the wisdom of emptiness. And on one hand, the fact that we have the fears of any kind, say somebody breaking your house, or losing your job, or whatever kind of accidents or whatever. One thing is that all these fears, they are attracted by the previous negative karmas. And these negative karmas, they are attracted by the afflictions. And afflictions, they are attracted by the ignorance. In the dream, say you see that your neighbor has a very good car, and the neighbor is very unkind towards you. Then to make the neighbor unhappy, you may scratch the car, right? You may scratch the car, and then two of you start fighting. Then you end up in prison. Okay, let's say that. So this being in prison was attracted because of your fight with the neighbor. Fight with the neighbor was because of your mischievous act of scratching the neighbor's brand new car. That was because of your anger towards the neighbor, right? And okay, let's say you wake up. Do you still go to scratch the neighbor's car? You will not. Right? You will not. Say, provided your neighbor is your very affectionate friend, so affectionate friend, and in the dream you dreamt of him fighting with you, right? And then when you wake up, oh, my neighbor is very affectionate, I'm very lucky that we don't have friction, right? Will you go to scratch the car? But in the dream, what made you go to scratch the car? Because of the friction between two of you. Why? What kind of friction? Finally, so this jealousy and these things, all what happened, what's the root of all these, the things happening in the dream? Because of failure to see the dream as dream. You agree with me? Because of the failure to see the dream as dream, you see the dream is real, then everything triggered out of that. In the dream, if the neighbor comes and they abuse you publicly, right? If you know that this is dream, why should you waste your energy to fight back? You know that this is dream. You will not waste energy to fight back. Fighting back is a clear indication that you see that as real. You don't see that as a dream. You're getting it? So now tell me, all these problems they are triggered, all these problems that you had in a dream, triggered out of what? The ignorance. Which ignorance? Ignorance which fails to see the dream as dream. You're right? Which fails to see the dream as empty of being real. Okay, so all problems that are triggered by this ignorance. Likewise, then in the dream, right, it's very interesting. In the dream, you had a fight with your neighbor, and the neighbor, what is the proper word? The put you in a court case, right? Court case, and then you have to go to the court. All happening where? In a dream. All these movements happening in a dream was all because of your failure to see the dream as dream. You getting it? Okay, now the beings, samsaric beings, we the samsaric beings, where have you been traveling? We've been traveling only in Bangalore or traveling elsewhere? Traveling elsewhere, moving here and there. And not only traveling within this world, you also travel to the next life endlessly. And what is the experience like? So painful, so painful. And then next time, where we are going to travel, we don't know. We have to go, but where, we don't know. It's a very scary journey. So this scary journey is all because of the belief that this scary journey is known as involuntary birth and involuntary death. This is samsara, right? This is all because of a failure to see this unconventional dream as unconventional dream. Just as in the dream, if you don't know that it was a dream, then we tend to just keep moving in the dream, going to the court in the dream, right? When you wake up, you don't have to go to the court. It's just coming from your mind. You stop. All these things, your misery stop, right? Likewise, all what is happening, going from one samsara to the another, or from one life to the other miserable life, endlessly many. So this is all because this is known as the wanderers. We wander from one life to the another miserable life, to the another miserable, and we are the wanderers. Okay, so let's see. So this we becoming wanderer is because of what? Because of failure to see the reality. That everything is subjectively real, but you see them as everything is subjectively real, but you see them as objectively real, right? While everything is empty of objective reality, you see them as objectively real. So therefore, we see this objectively real. When there is objectively real, then you go towards the object. Then this is how next life, endlessly many next life, miserable next lives. Okay, page 9. In the middle, it says 2b2b-2 presentation, having extracted the essence of those instructions, as stated in the sutra requested by Rastrapada. It reads, due to not knowing the way in which things are empty, meaning by not knowing things as empty of objective existence. Did you get it? In the middle there is one which says 2b2b. Do you see this? Okay. So there it says, as said in the sutra requested by Rastrapada, due to not knowing the way in which things are empty of objective existence. By not knowing this and seeing things objectively real, peaceful and unproduced, migrators, peaceful and empty, peaceful and unproduced. In reality, things are empty of objective existence, things are peaceful, things are unproduced objectively. Because you fail to see this, then the migrators, meaning we the beings, samsaric beings, we migrate from one life to the next miserable life, to the next miserable life, and then we keep wandering in samsara. Migrators wander. The teacher, possessing compassion for them, the teacher here referring to the Buddha possessing compassion for them, caused them to enter by skillful methods and hundreds of reasonings, meaning that through reasonings, this wisdom of emptiness will come to us only through study, reflection and meditation. We can't expect them to go to a Rinpoche or to one Lama or to whatever. Then the person touches your head and then, wow, I've realized emptiness. Impossible. Impossible. Right? If this is possible, then you go to one Lama. Oh, please make me a Nobel laureate in physics tomorrow. Right? Please bless me. Then the Lama or the teacher blesses you, and the next day, then you, wow, physics is just got this what? Spontaneous coming. Right? Spontaneous coming. And then even Albert Einstein could not challenge you. Right? And Albert Einstein will vote you for the Nobel Peace Prize. Impossible. Impossible. 100% impossible. You cannot expect that will become a Nobel Peace Prize, the Nobel laureate in the physics or mathematics simply by receiving a blessing from a guru. Impossible. It is only through learning, reflection and meditation that you can expect that this wisdom of emptiness can dawn in us. This is so important. Don't deceive ourselves. Don't go into the trap of the illusion. We live in the world of illusion. If you expect that these things can come to us simply through no effort from your side, and then expecting blessings, and then everything comes to us. Impossible. If you cite Milarepa, just see how much toil he went through in his life, hardships he went through in his life, in order to reach to that level. And can we really do that? So some people, they live in the illusion. They don't put any effort the way Milarepa put, and expect the same realization happening to us. Wages Milarepa, it happened to similar. We live in the world of illusion. Okay. So if you really want to be free from suffering, then the only choice is by discovering what the wisdom of emptiness is, by waking up. As Rahim said yesterday, 2 days ago, by waking up from the sleep of ignorance. How to wake up from the sleep of ignorance? By seeing the emptiness. How to see the emptiness? Through learning, reflection, and meditation. Okay. So it's for this reason, this is what the Buddha said. It says, the teacher possessing compassion for them caused them to enter, out of compassion, the compassion caused the Buddha to enter by skillful methods, to enter into the wisdom of, or say, okay, so cause, so this, the teacher or the Buddha, enlightened beings, they then make these sentient beings engage, or cause the sentient beings to engage in this wisdom of emptiness with skillful means. Not just, with the blessing, but the incredible number of the skillful methods and hundreds of reasonings. This is what the Buddha said. So therefore we have to study. This is so precious, so precious. Okay. And then the Bodhisattva Shantideva, in chapter 9, he said that which means that all these branches of teachings, innumerable branches of teachings, the Buddha taught for the sake of the wisdom, to implant the seed of the wisdom in the sentient beings, right? So all these teachings, all other teachings were given by the Buddha in order to implant the seed of wisdom in the sentient beings. So it says, so the next stanza, next 2 lines, it says, all these branches were taught by the subduer here referring to the Buddha, subduer, for the sake of the wisdom. Okay. Okay, now with this, let us turn to page 11. Page 11. Page 11. What is there in the end? Towards the end, it says, as said by the protector Aranigarjuna. As said by the protector Aranigarjuna, the person is not earth, not water, not fire, not wind, not space, not consciousness, nor is the person all of these together. Yet apart from them, what person is there? Okay, so there are several translations. Translations may differ. So the meaning is the same. Meaning remains the same. So this stanza, anyway, just for information, Tibet House, we are now bringing out the thick book, the prayer book which Choe has. So this book we are bringing that out through proper publication. Which is similar to this. This is the shorter version of that. Yes, over there. But Dipti has raise your hand. Okay, yeah, this one. So the proper publication is expected to come soon. So that has so many important texts, and Tibet House would be very happy to. I already mentioned this to the Shandi Yasningji, Shandi Govindamji, both of them. I mentioned this very clearly. That Tibet House would be very happy to donate like 150 copies to the center. And so meanwhile, the others for your private, so that is for the center, not for the individual to carry home. That's for the center. For the individuals, so there's going to be, I asked 2 of them to give some stock for sale, from, say the cost price, because Tibet House, the purpose is to disseminate these things for the people who are interested in these things, for that matter. So there, all these things are there, and that is consists of so many important texts, short texts, very important texts written by the numerous enlightened beings, the Indian masters, and many of the sutras. Then the Indian masters and Tibetan masters is a very beautiful collection, and most of them were actually the main texts which His Holiness the Dalai Lama uses to give the teachings on for the last like 10-12 years. So this is the combination of that. They will be extremely beneficial for us. Okay, so that is expected to be there. All these things will be there. So now what is said here, as said by the protector Arjuna, the person is not earth, not water, not fire, not wind, not space, not consciousness, nor is the person. All of those, all of this together, yet apart from them, what person is there? Okay, so for this matter, okay, sit upright, and look at the person sitting next to you. Look at the person sitting next to you. I did not ask you to smile. Don't smile. Just look at the other person. Still smiling. Right? Okay, now, when you looked at a person, okay, now look at your own hand. Nobody smile. If you smile, it is time for you to go to mental hospital. You look at your own hand and then you smile, it is time for you to go to hospital, mental hospital, right? Whereas if you look at the other person, you smile, it's fine. It is not time for you to go to mental hospital, no need to go to mental hospital. When you look at that person, now don't look at it. Okay, now put down your hands. When you look at that person, it made you smile. There's a reason. The reason is, okay, now tell me. Okay, now don't look at the other person. Close eyes. Usually I suggest not to close eyes in meditation. Close eyes today, this exception. Close eyes and think of the same person. Think of the same person to whom you looked at. Hey, think of the same person to whom you looked at. Just think of that, but don't look at that person. Think of that. Okay, good. Now open your eyes. Open your eyes. Now look at me. Okay, open your eyes. When you look at a person, you smiled. When you think of the same person, you are not smiling. But if you smile, then Choe something has to take that person to mental hospital, right? Okay, now listen. This is very important. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? Why? When you actually look at the person, that person made you to smile. When you think of the same person in your mind, it did not make you to smile. Do you know the reason? Do you know the difference? Anyone? Yes?
When we are looking at the person, we smile because we think it's real. But when we are looking at the person, when we are closing our eyes, we think it's an image of our mind, so we don't feel that smile coming.
Very good. Okay, so there, when you think, you know that it's the image that is coming in your mind is just coming from your mind. It is subjectively real. When you see the person, when you look at the other person, you see it as objectively real. Objectively real, then emotions are stirred. Right? Emotions are stirred. Anger, attachment, jealousy, commitment, all these are stirred when you see things as objectively real. When you see things as coming from a mind, then the emotions stop. Negative emotions, they all stop. Right? Questions are going to be there. Questions are bound to be there, right? I'm not going to stir the questions at the moment. If you have questions, keep them in your mind. Later on we will do that. Okay, now, with this in mind, when we see them, now we come to know that when you see things as coming from a mind, your emotional turbulence stops. Your emotional turbulence stops, right? Whereas when you see things as objectively real, then the emotions are stirred. You don't want to have the emotions stirred, but it stirs, which means you don't have the freedom. You have lost the freedom. When emotion stirs in you, right? Say, I don't want to smile when I look at the person, right? My emotions must be at peace. I don't want to. And then look at the person, again you smile. Involuntarily it happens. So your emotions get stirred. when you see things as objectively real. Emotion stirs, meaning that emotions, when they stir or they are in peace, it is not in your hand. Who decides that? External object decides that. So, your freedom is not in your hand. Your freedom is not in your hand. This is known as loss of freedom. Loss of freedom is misery. Misery is samsara. You're getting it? When you see things as objectively real, that stirs your emotion. You don't have the freedom whether to stir your emotion or whether to keep your emotion at peace. You don't have this freedom. So, the emotion gets stirred. It is not in your hand. It is not in your hand means you don't have the freedom to choose what emotions to arise. So you don't have the freedom means you have lost the freedom of choosing your emotions. Loss of freedom is misery. And misery is samsara. You getting it? Okay, now don't think of saying, oh, to get out of samsara, I don't want to come to samsara anymore. It's very tiring. It's so exhausting, so tiring. Where do you want to go then? Oh, I want to get out of samsara. Where? To Himalaya. To Himalaya, again the self-grasping, ignorant, self-centered attitude will keep coming with you. Will come with you even to Himalaya. Right? As long as self-grasping ignorance is there, it will continue to stir your emotions. As long as the emotions are stirred, you have the loss of freedom. As long as the loss of freedom, misery is there. As long as misery is there, that is samsara. You are creating a new samsara in Himalaya. Where Himalaya usually is considered to be very peaceful, you are bringing a samsara there. Right? Okay, now with this mind, knowing this, we have to, the reality, the good news is that nothing really exists from the object side. If things do have objective existence, then we cannot control our emotions. Nobody can control the emotions. Even the Buddhas cannot control the emotions if things do exist objectively. The good thing is that things don't exist objectively. Why we see things objectively was not because things exist objectively, because of our misperception. The Mount Kailash snow, fresh snow, was seen dirty, not because it is dirty, it is because of the dirtiness of your glasses. You see dirty there, it's not dirty there. You are seeing dirty because of the dirtiness through the lens. Likewise, we see this is objectively real. It's not because that things exist objectively. It is seen as objectively real because of a misperception, because of the ignorance. So this is good news. We can eliminate this ignorance. Once the ignorance is eliminated, your emotional state is in your hand. Whether to stir, not stir, whatever, it is in your hand. If it is in your hand, you have regained your freedom. We have regained your freedom. That is total freedom. Total freedom is known as transcendence of sorrow. Sorrow has been transcended. Transcendence of sorrow is absolute peace. This is what we are all seeking. Right? Okay, so with this mind, now the point is, how can we see things as they are, to be empty of objective existence? You're getting it? This is so precious. With that in mind, when you look at other person, this perception makes you to smile. Don't forget this. Now, as Rashmi very clearly indicated, that the person you are seeing and the person you are imagining, you have a very clear knowledge that this imagination is simply coming from your mind, which means it is purely subjective. Subjective means it is empty of objectivity, empty of objective existence. Whereas when you look at a person, you see the person as objectively real, right? So because of these two, when you see the person as subjective, emotions are under control. When you see the person as objectively real, emotions are stirred. You're getting it? Okay. Now, the same object which made you to smile, the same object, same person which made you to smile, we're going to analyze. I said that what made you to see that person is objectively real? Is that because the object exists objectively, or is because of? Let me say this again. When you see the person which made you smile, when you see that person, why the person made you smile was because you saw the person is objectively real. So, you seeing the person objectively real, is this because that the object exists objectively, or it is because of?
We are subjectively real.
Ignorant. We are not
yeah, or because of our misperception. Ignorance. Our ignorance, or not because the object exists objectively, it is because of misperception. Seeing the object as objectively. In reality, object is empty of objective existence. How can we know this? This next question. How can we know that in reality, the person who made you to smile, it is empty of objective existence? Okay. Do you have the clear memory of, don't look at the person, don't look at the person. Do you have the clear memory of that person, appearance of the person which made you to smile? Do you have the clear memory now?
Yeah.
If you have, if you don't say no, which means you want to look at the other person once more. Right? Don't look at the other person once more, or look at the person now, very quickly again. Very quickly, for a few seconds. Okay, still you are smiling, which means what? You are seeing the person as objectively real. Okay, don't forget this. If this person does exist objectively, objectively means not subjectively. If the person who made you smile, if the person does exist objectively, not subjectively, but objectively, then closer you go towards the object, you should be able to find this person. Yes, no? Right? If somebody says that the flower is in my hand, the closer the person comes towards my hand, you should be able to find the flower. You agree with me?
Yes.
If you accuse me, criticize me, accuse me, saying that you have taken my Rolex watch in your hand, it is in your hand. How many hands I have? Two. I open my right hand, empty, left hand, empty. Combined together, I prove that what you said is wrong. You getting it? Okay, likewise, if this person who made you smile, if the person does exist objectively from the object, then closer you go to the object, you should be able to see the person. Yes, no?
Yes.
Very good. Okay. Now, okay, sit upright. Sit upright properly.
Can I have a question?
Okay, now let's flow. We have only 10 minutes. So the question we will do later. Okay, I'm meeting you separately. Okay, now, let's say that, okay, sit upright. Remember what Arjuna said. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If the mirage were to be water, okay, can you repeat, can you say this with me? If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Let us say this 3 times. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? Okay, now from the distance, say I'm 1 kilometer away from you, and you see a mirage there, mirage, and you see me as, suspended in the water, because you are actually seeing mirage. And you may be thinking that, oh, he has a miracle power, he is walking on the water, right? So then, actually you are seeing a mirage. Then you want to check whether it's miracle power or it's a mirage. So how would you check? You are 1 kilometer away from me. How would you check? You come closer towards me. From where the mirage is appearing, you come closer. And if you still see the water there, then you said that this is miracle. That he's actually the walk on the water. But if you see that water is not there, then you will conclude that the earlier perception of the water was wrong and it was actually mirage. If the mirage were to be water, Why not those close by the mirage? Sea water, right? Likewise, if that person who made you smile were to exist objectively, right? I will extend the same reason. If the person who made you to smile were to exist objectively, why not I see the person as I go closer towards the object? You getting it? If the person who made me smile were to exist objectively, why not I see this person as I go closer towards the object? You agree with me? Good. By the same extension reason as said by Authenticate with the mirage. Now with this, okay, think of the same person who made you smile. Think of the same person who made you smile. Now this person, we go closer towards the object, closer towards the object, Your mind is the subject. Don't go closer towards your subject. Go towards the object, towards that person. By going closer towards the person, initially what we see is just a thin layer of skin. You agree with me or not? Thin layer of skin is not the person. You are only interested in that person which made you to smile. The thin layer of the skin, if it comes alone, is very scary. It will not make you smile. So this is not a person. Remove that. Then behind that is the fatty tissues. That will make you even, that will scare you even more. It will not make you smile. Remove that. Then beneath that you will see the muscles, the ligaments, the cartilages, then the bones, the skeletons, all these sort of things. They are very scary, not at all, say, entertaining. Right? They are very scary to look at. Okay, nothing. Then the heart, and have you seen in reality or in documentary films heart pumping? Right? Very scary. If the heart pumping alone comes in the night towards you, it's very scary. Right? It's very scary. So that is also not you. Heart, lungs, the liver, then the spleen, then what? Pancreas, then the kidney, gallbladder. None of these is the person. Remove them. So these are the solid part of the body. Solid part of the body, none of this is a person. This is an element of earth. Solid part of the body is known as the element of earth. None of the element of earth is the person. Keep that aside. You are looking for the person. Now what is left is the water, the liquid, the blood within the body which is pumped in and out by the heart. Even that is also not me. Remove that. Element of water is also not me. Now the element of the fire, body heat. From distance people cannot see my body heat, but people can see me. So which means the body heat is also not me. Element of fire is also not me. Remove that. Now the element of the air which I breathe in and out by my lungs, even that is also not me. Remove that. Now what is left? Space. Space, our body which is made of millions and trillions of atoms, and atoms are essentially vacuum in nature. The distance between electrons and the nucleus, the distance is so massive, so huge as compared to the size of the electrons and protons. So essentially we are just vacuum in nature. But this space, even this space that constitutes us, even that is also not me, because I am seen as a solid person and the space is a vacuum in nature. These two are contradictory. Even the space is also not me. Remove that. What is left now? Only the mind is left, or the consciousness is left. So this consciousness does not have a gender. Consciousness is not a male, it is not a female. And whereas I'm a male or I'm a female, and the gender is posited on the basis of the body, not mine. So my mind is also not me. And then people can see me. People cannot see my mind. So from that we see even this mind is also not me. Remove the what's left? Nothing is left there. So earlier you saw somebody making you smile. Now where is that thing which makes you smile? There's nothing left there which makes me smile. So why did you smile? Crazy. There's nothing there actually which makes you smile now. Right? Okay, this is what we're going to do. Okay, sit up properly. Okay, sit up properly and then let's turn to page 11. Page 11. Somewhere in the end, it says, as said by the protector of Aranyagarjuna, a person is not earth, not water, not fire, not wind, not space, not consciousness, nor is the person. All of these together, combined together, is also not the self. Yet apart from them, what the person, where is the self? This is what we're going to meditate. Okay, sit upright properly, sit properly. Okay. What are you doing? I'm meditating. Just follow the instruction. I'm meditating. Are you sure that you're meditating? Yes. What is your body doing? My body is in a meditative posture. And how do you know that your body is in meditative posture, you're meditating? Yes, I know this by my own mind. And yes, okay, so this I, this person who's meditating, how does this person exist? From the object or from the subject? Subjectively existent, objectively existent. Subjectively like a dream. No, it's by no way. It is not at all like a dream. It's just like, it is not at all like a dream. It is so solidly there. This is known as objective existence, and this perception is deceptive. This perception is known as self-grasping ignorance. This is the root of all the miseries. But how can I say that this is mistaken? Okay. If this person does exist the way it appears to us as so objectively, so solid from the object, remember what Arjuna said. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? In a like manner, if this person, I, were to exist objectively, why not I see this person as I go closer to this object? Okay, now let's go closer to this object. Going closer to this object, we see that there is just the thin skin, then beneath this fatty tissues, beneath that the muscles, cartilages, beneath that the bone, the skeleton, beneath that the bone marrows, then the blood vessels, heart, the lungs, the liver, the spleen, the kidney, gallbladder. None of these is the self. None of the solid part within the visceral organs within me is the self, which are nothing but element earth. Element earth is not me. Remove that. Now what is left? Element of water is left. The blood which is pumped in and out by the heart to the different parts of the body. Even that is also not me. Remove that. Element of fire, the body heat. Of course it is not me. Remove that. Element of air, or the body sometimes translate it as wind. Element of air and wind, even that is also not me. Remove that. Element of space, of course space is vacuum in nature. I am solid in nature. These are contradictory. That is also not me. Remove that. What is left now? Only the consciousness is left. Only the mind is left. Even this mind is also not me. I'm a male or I'm a female. This mind does not have a gender. Gender is posited on the basis of the body. And people cannot see my mind, whereas people can see me. So therefore this mind is also not me. Remove that. What is left now? Nothing is left there. Tell me, what is that thing which made you to smile now? Where is that thing? It is not at all there. This I, even this I who smiled, even that is not there. Remain there, sit in this state for a while. Okay, now, without coming out of this meditation, imagine that you slowly keep a distance from yourself about say the 1/4 of a kilometer, or say like few meters, 20 meters away from you. Oh, again this self, I, appears. Again you go into this ultimate analysis, into the element of earth, water, fire, air, space, consciousness. Again the person, this I disappears. Again go beyond like 10 meters away from this I, again this I appears. So there's a constant change happening. I comes, I is empty, I come, I appear, I is empty, I appears, I is empty. With this constant change happening there. So this change, no doubt, this change is not happening on the object. Object-wise, it just remains the same. If there's change is happening on the perception. And perception is purely subject, on the subject. So therefore, whatever is involved in this change is purely subjective, nothing from the object. So this cell which comes and goes, this I, this is purely a part of the perception, which is a part of the subjective. So therefore, this is just subjectively, objectively it is just empty. Okay. Now without arising, without coming out of meditation, imagine that, imagine that you see someone as a girl or someone as a boy. Boy or the girl is just nothing, it is on the basis of the body. And this body, which defines the other person as a boy or a girl, is nothing but made of millions of atoms. Okay, first let us go to the body. This body is made of the skin, the fatty tissues, the muscles, the bones, the blood, and so forth. And even these are made of cells, millions of trillions of cells. And these cells are made of cell membrane, nucleus, cytoplasm, and so forth, and chromosomes. And the chromosomes are made of molecules, and the molecules are made of atoms. Stay here. Now this, what we see as a girl, what we see as a boy, in actuality, this is the reality. I'm just seeing millions of billions of atoms, that's it. Stay there, just stay there in the experience. You have not altered the object. If it is the boy, it's still the boy. If it's the girl, it's still the boy, it's still the girl. But what you see now, where is the girl? There's nothing which defines that thing. It's just millions of atoms. None of the atom is a girl, none of the atom is a boy. Stay there. It's an amazing experience. And this is 100% true. It's not a fabrication, it's a fact. What I earlier saw as a girl, what I earlier saw as a boy, this is just an illusion. What I see, it simply disappears. It's 100% true. It's unfabricated. This is the reality. Where is the boy? Where is the girl? This is exactly what Bodhisattva Shantideva indicated in chapter 9 of his book, Guided Bodhisattva's Way of Life. Okay, slowly come out of the meditation, come out. Come out. Okay. So this practice, if you can do on a daily basis, that would give a tremendous confidence in us. What we are seeing now, you are seeing me, you are seeing people around, children, you will see that they are all like illusions. You perceive them as some so well defined like this. It's just like illusion. So when you see the same person in the light of the atoms, where is the boyness, where is the girlness? And this is a fact. But we invariably see someone as a girl, someone as a boy. This is illusion. Right? So this is extremely powerful meditation. If you can do this meditation, but don't do this meditation when you're driving. Particularly when you know, some of the people who ride the bike. What is the word? Biking? Huh? No, what's the verb?
Riding the bike.
Two-wheeler.
What is the verb?
Riding.
Biking? Riding a bike.
Riding.
Riding on both sides. The one who is...
This is riding, this is driving.
What is the other one? Who's sitting behind you?
Indian rider.
He's not riding a bike?
No.
Oh.
He's only sitting.
Okay, sitting, not riding a car. Okay, let's say.
Sleeping partner.
Okay, when you're riding, let's say, so when you're riding, so therefore I cannot teach English, I can only learn English, right? When you're riding a bike, don't do it. When you're driving, don't do it. I'm very serious. When you are in metro, do it. In metro, just make sure that your back is intact. Back is intact and do the meditation.
This is with the eyes closed then or eyes open?
Eyes open, eyes closed, whichever. But better eyes open. So people around, they think that you are not, you're keeping your bag. If you go close, they think that you're not keeping your bag. It may disappear, right? Do your practice when you are just comfortably seated in a car without driving, or when you are in a metro, buses, aeroplanes, whatever. Do these. These are so precious, so precious. Getting it? So precious. Now, what we did is just for the movie. It's like a trailer. It's not the full movie, right? Now, because this is so precious, this you will say, as you age, as you encounter with the different life experiences, life challenges, you will come to know that I want to have a solution to all these problems, and then you come to realize that this wisdom of emptiness is the solution. So for that, don't expect that to come when you actually struck with the tragedy, and then you go for the wisdom. It comes to you. Don't expect that. Prepare it from now, before the tragedy actually strikes you. This is so important. For this, what we did today, the last 3 days, is a trailer of the wisdom of emptiness, and for the full thing, you have to study more intensely. And Choe, Ling, we are very lucky. There are so many good teachers coming. One. Number two, there is the Narendra Master's course under Tibet House program, right? And we have now the diploma course also introduced, 1 year diploma course. And with this only then you can join for the second batch, Narendra Master's course, right? Okay, if you're really interested to study more, you can engage in this program also. That will be very helpful, because somebody to get the opportunity to study this very systematically about emptiness and all these things, it is very unlikely to happen under natural situations. Like Tibet House, without this program, for example, even for the say Pramana Vartika, we did it here. I don't know how I did it here, right? We did it here. Otherwise, in Tibet House, we did not do it, because that is a working place where people work, people who live. They have a family responsibility. They have the same job responsibility. They have this responsibility, that responsibility, so forth. So, unless we put yourself in some kind of system, we will never get the chance to study these incredibly great legacies of the Narendra Masters, right? So just for the purpose of the people who otherwise will not get the opportunity to study these things, Tibet House, under the blessings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, we launched this Narendra Masters course just for the people who do not have the access to study these great legacies of Narendra Masters, and particularly because of the language barrier. Those who have good come out of the Tibetan language, there's a possible for them. But in English, so less opportunity. One opportunity is there from the Pomaya. Is the Pomaya? Pomaya. One is very expensive. Number two is going through translators. Number three, the subject-wise, what the Tibet House is designed, it is very comprehensive, right? And it is a Herculean task. It's all because of His Holiness the Dalai Lama that such things are happening. Otherwise, it will never happen, right? So, for that matter, say, for one's own benefit, to really prepare yourself for the future tragedies, for the future, say, the pains, to avoid the future pains, we have to prepare ourselves from now on. For that matter, these facilities are there. And even if you may not be able to, if you can, that is best for your own benefit. Still, Choe, Bengal people, you are very lucky to have Choe, such a wonderful center. And believe it or not, there are centers in other cities, some centers there, but how they operate, it is not as active because Choe 1, it is very close to Sera, and the teachers from Sera, particularly with the blessings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the blessings of Lama Subharabuchi, it's amazing that these teachers come. And then, for example, say Venerable the Raptana, very close to my heart, and I won't say much, right? So people can benefit a lot. Okay, so this is we are very fortunate from that point of view to have chosen me here. So the point is, what we did the last 3 days, this is like just an intro, and to reap the maximum benefit, we have to have more thorough studies. And for those of you, somehow you cannot be enrolled in the Another Master's course, still there are materials. Available you can get, right? So the point is, whether you enroll yourself in Another Master's course or not, this is not a matter. The point is that we have to grow. How to grow? By study, reflection and meditation. And be kind with yourself, and be wisely kind with yourself. Be kind with yourself means try to give the best to yourself. And how to give the best to yourself? In a sensible way. Through studies, reflection and meditation. Okay, so we'll stop here today. And so I'm extremely grateful to the Shani Yashlingji and Shani Gobinathji, and two of them made such a strong request since long time ago, and all the people here, all the staff here, like Sadhanaji and everyone who's involved here with the center, and then Venerable Raptana, the people who go to Bangalore from Delhi, I'm always recommending connecting to Venerable Raptana because of his tremendous, the tenderness of the warmth and so kind. So the point is that I'm so grateful to all of those people who take the responsibility of keeping Choe alive, right? Okay, so and then whoever, all of those who are, say for example, at this time we have Ravila making sure that I'm taking the brought to Choe properly and time, and then we have Anitaji. Okay, so many people are involved in this. I'm so grateful to all of you, and meeting with my very dear friends, for example, say like the first time, somehow you may be amazed to know that somehow how I'm connected to Choe initially was through Anupamaji, right? So you wouldn't believe how that happened. There was, I think, 2008 or 9? 2008, where I was doing the review in Dharamsala, and then suddenly after the review, the next day, we can do the review, but I was a little cautious to see what's the actual situation. From my side, over enthusiasm, no. So I said, okay, tomorrow, as per the other situations, we cannot have the review. And then we stopped there. Then a young girl came, a young Indian girl came. Usually in those days, the Indians, educated Indians, taking interest in Buddhism was less. Young Indian girl came and said, please have the review session tomorrow also. I was so fascinated. How come that such a young Indian, educated Indian, interested? And just to make this young girl happy, I said, okay, yes, we'll do tomorrow. And then after 1 or 2 months, I received an email from Anupamaji, please come to Choe. Okay, and I was the one who asked you, who requested you to do the review the next day, and that was me. Please come to Choe. I'm from Choe, please come to Choe. So this is how my connection with all of you started. So I feel so grateful to Anupamaji And Rajivji, where is Rajivji? Rajivji is there, so kind, so kind. And I'm coming to Bangalore. I had some, my own personal difficulties. So there, two of them, they're always there for me to lean on. They are personal matters, right? They are very personal matters, nothing to do with Choe or something. But they're there. I abused two of them, and two of them are always there to make sure that that was long before I was more closely connected with Choe or something. Okay, so I'm so grateful to two of them. Two of them connected me to Choe or something. Because of two of them, I'm so fortunate to meet with. Anyway, I know him since before Choe or something, right? With Shandiji, Shandi Yasnik, Shandi Gobinath. So all of you. Now and some people, they in fact say that I know the names of most of the people, right? So all of you I meet, I'm so grateful. I'm so happy to meet each one of you, and say so happy. It's like coming home for me. Thank you so much, right? So the best would be, see how much you can say study, reflect and meditate. And then don't, when you say that, oh, you become so enthusiastic because of 3 days, and then you start doing something like 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. Always start small. Always start small. One thing, start small meaning, say, keep like 5 minutes. 5 minutes reading time. Reading time of, say, the for example, the book, the thick book which we are going to soon publish. So that one, from there, if you have other materials, keep reading any materials, something, and this would be a wonderful compilation. This is a wonderful compilation. You can, don't read too much. Don't read like 10 pages a day. You become so enthusiastic, then you, oh, this is very interesting, I'm so lucky, I'm so very fortunate to be reading the Dharma material. You will read 20, 30 pages a day, and the next day, the book is there, and then you, okay, psychologically, you don't feel like even touching it, because yesterday you feel already very tired. So what we should be doing is that read like 1 page. And if you're very tired, read like half a page. And say that, okay, he just made some kind of commitment. Okay, just to make him happy, I'll do it. Just half a page. You read it, stop there. Even if you like to read more, stop it. Just half a page. And maximum you read like 2 pages initially. First, let yourself be stabilized in reading. Build this habit of reading every day. Like 1 page a day, half a page a day, every day for the next 1 or 2 months. If that becomes consistent, then if you want to read more, like 5 pages a day, feel free to do that, right? So this is the greatest way by which to keep you growing. Keep you growing. This is so important. And meanwhile, take the maximum advantage of the Choe Sumi here. Take the maximum advantage of the teachers, the Venerable Ratana and others coming here. So this is what I'll make a request. And then on that basis, design your own personal practice, like 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day. So this is what we have to keep in mind, right? Because this is eventually what will help us. What will help us to become very confident, fearless, and happy. Okay, with that in mind, let's turn to the end direction prayer. Okay, if you turn to page 48, okay, we will read these. These stanzas are very precious. These stanzas are the ones, page 48. No. The title is the Extracts on Meditation on Emptiness and Dependent Origination. Extracts on meditation on emptiness and dependent origination. These stanzas are very important later on when you start meditating on emptiness, when your knowledge of emptiness grows to some extent, and then the joy in meditation arises in you. These are materials that you're going to directly use in your meditation on emptiness. Okay, let's read them. Given by the together, let's read them together. Given by the precious Chan Sutra. Manjushri, whoever listens even with calm to this teaching on emptiness generates much greater positive potential than a bodhisattva who, lacking skill in means, practices the excess perfections for 100,000 aeons. This being so, what need is there to say anything about a person who listens to this teaching without doubt? What need is there to say anything about a person who imparts the scripture in writing, memorizes it, and also teaches it thoroughly and extensively to others? The treasury of the One Plus Gone Sutra. Any person who possessing all these 10 great non-virtues enters into the teaching of selflessness and has faith and conviction that all phenomena are from the beginning pure of true existence does not go to a bad rebirth. Section on Subduing Devil Sutra. If any bhikshu realizes that all phenomena are absolutely pacified of inherent existence, and the beginning of defilements is devoid of self-nature, it will remove the guilt of having defilements and make unstable the defilements, thus deeming even the immeasurable negativities dysfunctional, that are the secondary wrongs done associated with ethics and rituals. Aradeva's 400 verses. Those with less merit will not even have a qualm in this dharma of ultimate reality. Should a qualm ever arise in someone, will shatter samsara into pieces. Acharya Chandragiri's entry in the middle way. Upon hearing about emptiness, even while being an ordinary being, whatever repeatedly gives rise to inner joy, and this joy bringing tears moistening the eyes, and hairs of the body standing on end, in him or her is present the seed of wisdom and perfection, perfect Buddhahood. Upadhyaya Sutra. The various delightful flowers blossom, and the sparkling supreme golden apple stands so leering. They are no created at all, they are posited by the power of thought. Through the power of conceptualization, the world is imputed. Bhikkhuni Vajira's utterance in the fundamental Hegel Sutra. The mind is demonic which views the true self. With a wrong view, these composition aggregates are empty. There is no being in them. Just as one designates a card in dependence upon a connection of parts, so we assert the conventional living beings in dependence upon aggregates. An extract from Venerable Shavara's writings. Despite seeing the reality everywhere in space, one finds not the periphery and the center. All perception cease completely. Likewise, through a thorough search of the mind of phenomena, one finds not even the atom of essence. Since the searching mind is not found, not seeing anything is seeing reality. King Concentration Samadhi Raja Sutra. Just as in a dream of a young girl, she met with a boy and saw his death. Joyous was she at the meeting, and anguish at his death. View all phenomena as thus. Aranigarjuna's fundamental wisdom of the middle way. Through ceasing common afflictions, nirvana is achieved. Common afflictions arise from distorted conceptions. These arise from elaborations of grasping at true existence. Elaborations cease by or into emptiness. Neither aggregates no different from the aggregates. The aggregates don't depend on him, nor is he dependent on them. The Tathagata doesn't possess the aggregates, what is the Tathagata? That which dependently originates is posited to be into independent existence. That which dependently designated, this is the middle way. Since there is no phenomenon that is not dependently originated, there is no phenomenon that is not empty. Aranigarjuna's precious garland. If the person is not earth, not water, not fire, not wind, not space, not also consciousness, and not all of them, where is the person out of those? Just as a person is not truly existent because of being an aggregation of the true six constituents, so each constituent also is not truly existent as the aggregations of their own constituents. Aranigarjuna's Bodhicitta Vivarana, commentary on Bodhicitta. Through seeing the emptiness of phenomena, in respect to the law of common effect, is indeed the excellence of all excellences and amazement of all amazements. Guiding the view, the four mindfulness by His Holiness Kelsang Gyaltsen, the seventh Dalai Lama. At the crossroads of the six collections of the consciousness, which have diverse perceptions, are seen the hazy dualistic phenomena which are based as. There is a magical show which is by nature deceptive. Don't believe it to be true, but view it as having the nature of emptiness. Don't let a mind go astray, but place it in the nature of appearance emptiness. Through not losing mindfulness, hold it in the nature of appearance emptiness. Aradeva's 400 verses. When dependent arising is seen, ignorance does not occur. Thus, through all efforts, just try to find this subject. An extract from Prayers for Proliferating the Dharma of the Land of Snows by His Holiness 14th Dalai Lama. Venerable Mahamudra Meditation, Dorji, and so on. The host of the precious Kagyu, the sources of blessings, the chair of the unexcelled masters of this outstanding tradition. To you all I pray, may the Buddha Dharma of the Land of Snows blaze forevermore. All phenomena encompass in samsara and nirvana. is about the radiance of spontaneous awareness. Awareness itself, devoid of elaborations, is realized in the nature of Dharmakaya. Pervading all existences and appearances of samsara and nirvana is the great Mahamudra. May the Buddha Dharma of the levels knows place forevermore. In praise of Dharma Dhatu, impermanent, suffering and empty. These three, they purify the mind. The Dharma purify the mind the best. The Dharma that is unsurpassed purity of the mind is the level of intrinsic nature. The concluding prayer in Lama's commentary on Aranyaka Arjuna's fundamental investment of anyway. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by our Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of dependent origination in particular, even in the course of my life. Okay, so the translation section, Shri Hiruga Sadhana, let us fold our hands. This is so precious. Even the name, the sacred holy name of the Shri the Hiruga, even this name is selected in order to implant a special seed of the wisdom of emptiness in the minds of the sentient beings. Shri Hiruga, Shri Hiruga, Shri Hiruga. He is the self-essence of phenomena. The mind which is the source of everything is empty of true existence, as it is imputed to be of causal nature. Who is self-essence of person, the emptiness of self as fabricated by the web of conceptual thought which grabs at the self of person. Ka is ultimate reality, the absence of the dissonant duality of subject and object. Shri is the non-dual exalted wisdom which abides in congruence with the emptiness of the object. This is the meaning of Evam. Okay, let us turn to the end direction prayer from page 74. Okay, now let us, the merits that we have accumulated the last 3 days, let us multiply the merits of the wisdom of emptiness, the merits of the wisdom of the merits of the bodhicitta. May these two lights proliferate infinite number of times and share with all the demon sentient beings, so that the darkness of the self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude within the minds of sentient beings are eliminated for good, and that they experience the boundless happiness eternally. Let us also pray, let us also dedicate the merits gathered, that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the true source of joy and happiness on this earth, that he lives long, and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. And may all the great, incredibly great learning centers, such as Ganden, Sera, Tepung, Tashitumbo, Gyude, Gyume, and the learning centers of Sakya, Kaikyu, Nyingma, Gelu, all these learning centers, may they thrive in the learning, reflection, and the meditation in the minds of all the members there. And thus, the Buddha Dharma forever remains alive and vibrant in the entire universe. And let me personally dedicate the merits thus gathered, that each one of you, through your concerted effort, be able to soon see the dawn of the bodhicitta and wisdom within you, and that each one of you becomes such a reliable guide to lead all dear sentient beings to its ultimate happiness. May the bodhicitta flourish in all 10 directions. May the light of the wisdom of emptiness flourish in all 10 directions, in the minds of dear other sentient beings of the present and future. Okay, with that in mind, let's turn to page 74. With a wish to all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I gender the matter of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Triple Gem, I confess the negativities individually, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings, I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of Guru Buddha and lead all beings without exception into the enlightened state. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that is not erased and arise and grow, and may that which is arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. I dedicate the merits thus gathered towards the realization of the deeds and the prayers of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and of the whole Buddha of the Dharma and the Being teacher of realization. May in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mahayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect will, the 2 stages. The path of union of emptiness and compassion is lucidly explained by the protector of the Dharma and the beings that is known and with the lotus of the Tenzin Gyatso, vis-a-vis that your wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operations of evil thoughts and deeds of the negative forces, humans or non-humans, who harbor malice through perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas, be totally vanquished through the power of the truth of the three jewels. Okay, this prayer we will say 3 times. This is the last stanza here, page 77. This is a very powerful stanza. What it says is that we pray that we are always guided in this life, in the future lives, by our Manjushri, the Buddha of the wisdom, so that our wisdom of emptiness will proliferate, will glow, and then the darkness of ignorance is eliminated. And because of which each one of us will become a guide to liberate, to dispel the darkness of the ignorance from all other demon sentient beings eternally, even at the cost of our life. Okay, this is a very precious prayer. Let's say this 3 times. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of dependent origination in particular, even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of dependent origination in particular, even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of dependent origin in particular, even in the course of my life. And then the fact that Choe, this is the seed of Lama Subara Rinpoche. Lama Subara Rinpoche, the one thing which is so unique, the greatness, the real greatness of Lama Rinpoche, which I personally felt, is that he always encourages people to study the wisdom of emptiness and bodhicitta. This is the main message of Lama Subara Rinpoche. This is what I feel so happy to say that somebody says that I'm the Lama Rinpoche, I'm follower of Lama Subara Rinpoche. When somebody says like this, I always say you are very lucky. You are in the right hand. This is so important. That some of the teachers, they may, go into say, oh, you do this prostrations, you do... No, prostrations, these are so important. They are so important. But the emphasis should be on the wisdom of emptiness and the bodhicitta. With these 2 things there, prostration, sadhana, vajrasattva, mandala, everything is good. Reciting Om Mani Padme Hum, everything is good. But if you lose these 2 essence, don't emphasize. And then simply emphasize on other parts, that is the unfortunate part. But Rinpoche, on the contrary, he emphasizes so much, all his teachings, somehow they are either on bodhicitta, wisdom, these 2 things are there. So we all, anyone who is following Rinpoche, you're very lucky, right? This is so important, we have to pray for a strong life. Yeah. Okay, thank you.